All right, we are live. Max Effort Kitchen. Welcome everybody. My name is Matt. This is Cornell.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm good. It is. I don't. I hate this time change more than the other one.
Yeah.
There's something about. It's like, would you rather go into work an hour late or get off an hour early? Like
Oh man. Yeah.
right now, this is the You get to go into work an hour. You get to start your day an hour late,
Yeah.
but you're gonna
Yeah.
stay an hour later too.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I would much rather be done an hour early because I'm like you, like getting up early, getting stuff done, and then being done for the day. Like
Yeah,
that always makes more sense.
yeah. I
Um,
would. I worked at a school for a little while, and I got to kind of pick my hours. So I chose to go in at 5 a.m.
yeah.
Just so I could get so much stuff done. I was like I did maintenance facility stuff,
Hmm.
and I was able to get so much done that by the time school started, I literally had nothing to do.
See, that's the best. Like I love to the point, like, and I kind of schedule my work around that now where I get like a majority of the productivity work that I need done. So by like noon, I'm like, okay, well, now I can kind of like relax and, you know, talk a bunch of bullshit with coworkers or just like move at my own pace.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, cool. But, I mean, there's certain instances. Last week was a little busy, so I couldn't do that. But I look forward to getting back to that. Cornell, I got to say, I really like that hoodie,
Thank you.
that Hope Dealer. Where did
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Is that a
Yeah.
certain brand or did you buy that somewhere? Or like what? Where
I
does that?
bought it on Instagram.
Did you?
There you
Nice.
go.
I
It
like
popped up, and I was like, "That's cool. I'll get that."
I like that. That's neat. That's I've been burned on the Instagram purchase where I purchased that was a while. It was a long time ago. It was probably like 3 years ago. I purchased a pair of shoes and they never showed up. And then I
I
found out
have.
that it was a fake site. So
I'm hoping I'm not about to get burned on something like that.
yeah,
Um, it. I don't think I am because I'm still getting ads
yeah,
for the and I've been getting ads for 6, 8 months from the same company, and I got
nice.
like 2 or 3 T-shirts.
Oh, there you go. I
And
always. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I had stuff saved from like months ago. Where I'm like, I really want this, but I didn't buy it. And I
Yeah,
feel like something wouldn't stick around that long and have like a legit like Instagram page with tens of
exactly.
15, 20,000 followers. So
Yeah, I think I've learned to be able to like I got to backtrack it. So I look at their page, I'll go online and just type in the name of their company and usually if something pops up, I feel good
yeah.
about it, but I didn't know about that before. Speaking of online purchases, you did something you bought something online recently, the new TYRs.
Yes, we had our gym is kind of, I guess you'd say it's sponsored by TYR.
Awesome.
We like all the athletes at our gym get 20% off and coaches get a little better discount.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but they had the new Tier Force Ultra. Actually, I have them right over there. Hold on one second.
Heck yeah. There was one thing that Cornell was telling me that I'll have him talk about, which is the fact that they had a fitting. They went into the store and there's a storefront there. And I was really jealous about that because I was like, man, I wish I could go into a storefront and buy a pair of lifters because it hasn't. Aside from Adidas, we have the Adidas headquarters here, and I guess Nike, um, but Nike doesn't stock them in their employee store, and that's usually where I go. Nor do they stock them in any of the other stores. So I don't know. I kind of was jealous that he got to do the fitting. Looks like he's scrambling around right now, so I will fill time. Got him. Cool.
Well, I hate to leave you hanging, but I can't find my gym bag. I just cleaned up the garage for 4 hours today.
Well, that's all right.
Out of her hair.
Well, while you were looking around, I was talking about the how jealous I was that you got to go to a storefront and do a fitting.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So I went into it. I tried on the L1s a while ago. I ordered a pair kind of when they came out, and I got the size I always get. And when I got them, they were too small. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They're advertising it that they're this big giant toe box and the shoe's too small. So I ordered them from a website that they got shipped to me from Germany. So for me to give them back, I had to ship them back to Germany. And it was going to be like $35.
Oh, geez.
And this was right when they were like the hot thing. So I just put them on eBay and I sold them for like $300. But
oh, nice.
The way eBay works is that 300, I think I spent $225 or something with tax and everything. And then I think I ended up making like $30.
Nice.
It was just like, you got this fee and that fee and that fee and this fee. And then shipping it, I shipped it to like the East Coast and it ended up costing me like $25, but they were only allowed to, I was only allowed to charge them like $12 for shipping. So I'm like, this wasn't worth it. But
yeah, no kidding, dude. It was kind of the same way when I was doing like the drop ship Max Effort Kitchen swag stuff. Like by the time the actual thing was sold, I was making like $1.15. I'm like, this is just dumb. So yeah. Oh, but
yeah. Well, I ended up getting another pair that I found a half size bigger, like a year and a half later. And I think I got them for like $60 or $70 on eBay.
Yeah.
And I got them and I wore them a couple times. I was like, all right, they fit better, but they're not anything special.
Right.
I always go back to my Adidas Addy Power ones. That's like, it's like the shoe that my first shoe. It's a shoe that I just use all the time. It's the shoe that I love. And I told someone the other day, I'm like, I feel like a ninja in those shoes. Like,
yeah.
I'm very maneuverable. They're not a wide shoe, but they mold to your foot. And it's just a shoe that I've used for so long. So I ended up selling those to my buddy Tyler, and he still uses them to this day.
Oh, nice.
And then, so I had this mindset going in that I'm a coach. I'm trying to go and do the coach thing and go to the event. And I was like, I'm not going to buy these things. Then we get there and they were telling everyone that they're going to have 40% off. And I was like, okay.
Starting to sound
the problem is they're $335.
Yeah.
So you take 40% off and they're $201.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's the cost of a normal pair of weightlifting shoes.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, I'm still not sold on this, but I'm going to go try them on. I'm going to do my thing.
Cool.
So we get there and we start hearing about all the drama that's gone on with these shoes. And honestly, Nike is a bunch of a-holes.
Yes, they are. I know.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Yeah.
They cannot sell this shoe in stores, and they are like on the cusp of being sued over this shoe.
It's because of the name, right?
It's because of the name.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can see the how you tied it together, but it's also one of those things where I'm like, come on, people.
There's not even a parallel line be like from an Air Force One to this. They are two different shoes. This is a lifestyle shoe versus an athletic trainer style shoe. Like it just does. Yeah. Anyways.
And so they're getting rid of the number 1 at the end. So I guess if they continue to make it, they'll have a number 2 at the next model, but who knows?
Yeah.
But so I go in, they're like, hey, we're going to give you guys 50% off because you're all here today. Oh. And we're like, oh,
jeez.
It's like, dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced. And then he goes, and we're only going to make we're only committed to making these shoes for 2 months. It's more of going to be a trial to see if people want them or not.
Yeah.
And if they don't sell good, we're not going to keep making them. And I was like, oh,
now you got to buy them. Yep.
I was like 50 off. Plus you can't get them possibly in a couple of months.
Yep.
And maybe it was just a selling thing, but there was only like 7 of us there. So,
yeah.
So I put it on, put the 9.5 on, which is the half size big for me. Mm-hmm. And I just put one shoe on. And I was like, oh, this is solid. This is real nice. So it's got the 1-inch heel. So it's a bigger heel than most other shoes.
Yeah.
So it helps you if you don't have good mobility, then it'll help you just to be more upright. Or if here's the other part. If you are hypermobile, you won't have to get as deep and have that risk of like straining things. I know a
Awesome.
couple people who are hypermobile and they're constantly getting hurt. And I'm like, hey, you should use a bigger heel. And they're like, no, I'm so flexible already. I'm like, no, but then you don't have to get to that super flexion. So
exactly.
they don't
That's
listen
cool.
to me. So whatever.
you're only coach, but whatever.
They can keep getting hurt.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, I put the shoe on. I didn't even put both of them on. And I was like, I'm going to buy this.
Yeah, I like that. Well, let me ask you this, because this is the vain part of me with especially with weightlifting shoes, is where I have 6 or 7 pairs of weightlifting shoes, and I love the look down. And then what I mean is like, and I do this with cars, the look back on cars is like what the part that I like. The look down. So the first TYRs that they came out with, the wide toe box and all that, they kind of look like bowling shoes when you look down on them.
Yep.
So do these don't have that same look, do they?
So the one thing I don't like, and this is being really cheesy, but these are first impressions. A lot of people haven't seen them or worn them There's a leather extra piece on the toe that's like just an extra piece of leather.
Okay.
They cut it into 2 pieces, and it should have just been one. That's my one thing is when you look down at it, I'm like, it should just be this continuous piece of leather that goes all the way around and just look like a detail. Yeah. And they cut it in 2, and I kind of have that little bit of a feeling like when you see those people with like the toe socks.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like you're like, yeah, that's where my big toe is. But
yeah,
I'm over it. So
yeah, no, I think there's some they're good looking. They do, obviously have the same look as those 08s, and those were always a really like sought after shoe when I first got into the sport. And then I got myself a pair and I was like, oh, I don't really like these. I'm going to keep them on my shelf for no reason. But these, these are going to be a treat for me. I think first I was like, I don't need to buy those because of the same thing you said. I'll buy a pair and then I'll wear them for like a month or so. And then I'll put them back on the shelf and go back to my Adi Powers. And it just, I don't know. But we live once. It's almost Christmas time. I'll treat myself, right?
Yeah. So the one big difference is that 1-inch heel.
I like the 1-inch heel. So that's cool.
It's taken a little bit to get used to. Tomorrow will be my 4th training session in them.
Yeah.
And it did take some getting used to. But the first time I was lifting in them, like I've been having a rough time on my comeback after surgery and life and like the month off. But I the first time I lifted it, I'm like, I just saved three or 4 lifts because of the bigger heel. Like I knew that I would have lost it behind, but I was okay because of the bigger heel. But then as I lifted more and more in them and I was getting the technique back, I was like, then I was almost starting to miss stuff in front. So yeah, I did have a pair at one point with the 1-inch heel, and I do remember I really didn't like squatting in them. So I did squat a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah, it drove me too far forward. So I might not squat in them. I used to just squat barefoot or in like Vans or whatever. But I don't squat a ton anymore anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I like the barefoot squat every now and then, and if there's something about it, I never go, I don't know about you, but I didn't ever go as heavy as I normally would with shoes on, probably like 80%, but it always made my feet feel really good afterwards. And I don't know what that was about.
I just always felt like I wasn't gonna be like, I wasn't dropping my chest as much if I would squat either barefoot or just flat shoes.
Yeah.
And I could squat roughly into the 90 percentile. And at the time, like, I don't think I was squatting much more than I maybe had like a 210 back squat, 212. And I remember squatting 200 barefoot. So
That's a good barefoot squat right there. I've heard people tell me that like, oh, it's really good for the for your foot to be able to flex and all and the arches and all, but I kind of tuned that out and forgot about it anyways. I kind of want to go back to what you were saying though just a minute ago with the comeback and the struggles of being away from, for the lack of better terms, away from the platform for a good amount of consistent time. Talk about what's going on, how are you getting back into it?
So I tried to take it real easy the first week.
Yeah.
And apparently I didn't take it easy enough. I mean, I was snatching body weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like day one. So days 1, 2, and 3, I added 10 kilos to each lift each time. So first day was 100, 120. And then by the third day, it was 120, 140.
Okay.
And then my IT bands, my hamstrings, my quads all flipped out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then last Monday, I could barely do anything. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like I think I snatched 70 kilos.
Yeah.
And I was just getting this electric shooting pain coming down my like hips and my butt and then up my back. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah.
And it just kind of hit me all at once. So I knew what I had to do, that I had to just basically sit for long periods of time on my hips on a medicine ball, or not medicine ball, on a lacrosse ball.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a massage, and then I also, in the jacuzzi, I keep one of those metal scrapers, and I was scraping my hamstrings, and then I had the electric cup that I just like went to town on my IT bands.
Nice.
And the back of my legs are black and blue.
Oh, wow.
And Saturday, so Friday, I didn't feel that great, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to call it kind of here, and hopefully tomorrow will be better. So I came home and I just did a bunch of stuff and just tried to just beat up the muscles, loosen them up. Came in Sunday and all of a sudden my right knee was hurting. And I was like, why is my left knee was hurting the day before.
Yeah.
But then my left knee stopped hurting because I had taken care of it. And then my right one started hurting. So then I just, while I was coaching Saturday morning, just started using the cup and just scraping it. And I got it to the point where like we were good. And then I think tomorrow, right now, I just feel very tender, but I think tomorrow I should be good.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm going through something similar, but different. And, back in like late August, I went on like a week. I don't know. I took about a week and a half off, and I came back. And before that week and a half, I was lifting probably the strongest I lifted in a little bit of time. I was hitting some bigger weights. And came back one Sunday session with Damon and did something to my hip. And so I was like, oh, I know this pain. It's no big deal. Blah, blah, blah. Kept on lifting like normal. Well, we're about 2 months into it, and I still am struggling. And it's like a 20-minute warm up before I even hit the platform to get my hip and my almost like the outer side of my hamstring, IT bandish area to get to the point where it's warmed up and I can move. But it's a struggle. And so I'm taking that, and usually I can work through these things pretty well, but I'm taking that with the weather change and being a garage lifter. It's getting colder. I have my heaters out here, and I'm just like, there's a lack of motivation. The last time I lifted good-ish was with Damon at Rose City, and that was pretty good, but that put me down for like 3 days. Like I came back that Monday, I was struggling snatching 65. And it was, it's not because the strength's not there, but it's because mobility is not there. My motivation's not there. And so for me, my brain starts swirling a little bit. I don't know if you do this too, but my brain starts swirling of like, how can I adapt? How can I adjust? And here's this fun word. How can I pivot? We use it a lot at work. And how can I make this work for me? And okay, maybe I should do some more bodybuilding stuff and just kind of take it back. Last week, I did nothing but 70 kilos in the snatch, didn't touch a clean and jerk, and then just did like upper body stuff, didn't touch a squat at all. push-ups, sit-ups, stuff like that,
Yeah.
just to keep my body moving. But I'm getting to the point where I'm about a week and a half into that, and I'm just like I'm starting to freak out a little bit. Not as like I'm going to lose it all, but like because my body's like, why aren't you doing what you're usually doing? And so it's a little bit of a brain thing. So let me ask you, like, how, where's your mental game at with all this?
Oh, it was a train wreck for a little while.
Okay, cool. Well, we're in good company then.
I mean, at one point I was like, what if I just took this is that waking up at 2 a.m. and contemplating life.
Yeah.
I was like, what if I just stopped for a year and then just had not a comeback to like, I'm coming back, but just an actual reset. And be like, all the old numbers are gone. Everything, like, and just be like, let's just see what I can do and not have any expectations. And then fell back asleep, woke up. Oh, that's stupid. I'm not taking a year off.
Yeah. Dude, we think a lot alike in that sense, because I've had that thought run through my brain as well. And it was like, maybe I should just stop for a little bit. And then I'm like, what? No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. But like, how'd you get through that?
I think I knew that I'm hopefully going to be moving from here in the next 9 months or so.
Yeah.
I was like, if I stopped lifting, I wouldn't see my friends like at the gym.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to go in and just not do anything. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep punching along and keep doing it. And it'll be fine. And it's just one of those frustration times. And I've gone through this before, but when you're in the middle of it, it's like it's never happened before. So
yeah.
And I did try doing a bunch of like bodybuilding stuff while I was still on the mend. And honestly, that stuff is so freaking boring.
It's so boring, dude.
And I'm like, you don't see, like with weightlifting, it's like, all right, you took some time off. You're a train wreck the first session. Then the second, you're like, oh, I'm a little bit better. Third one, you're like, I've got this. Maybe I push a little too hard, and then kind of what happened to me.
Yeah.
But I know next week will be 10 times better than last week. And the week after that will be even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bodybuilding, it's like, oh, I'm really trying to build this like shoulder muscle right there. I'm doing progress pick in 4 weeks.
Yeah. Progress pick. Oh man. For me, it's like, it's mind numbing to walk into a gym and sit there and just be like, okay, yeah. All right. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next one. And I'm very much a product of somebody who likes to sweat and feel exerted. And I know, and that's part of why I love weightlifting, is because it is a good combination of getting like a good pump, exertion, sweat, like feel good endorphins when I'm done. Even though my body's beat up or whatever, but like there's come a certain point right now that I can't get that. And I think that's where my mental game is, like, how do I recreate that? I've even contemplated going to a CrossFit gym. I'm like, maybe I should go do CrossFit. And then immediately the little thing in my brain says, no, you'll just get hurt doing that. And that's the truth. So it's like right now, I pull a Damon. I was like, I might take a week off, for a week or two off of weightlifting. And then immediately after I got done with that pull, I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to pressure him to come over tomorrow. I think he's watching. I can see there's a couple people on here. So Damon, get ready for that. But I think it's a real thing. And I've explored this a little bit with Damon in conversation, and I kind of wanted to get your take on it. Like, I like your thing about the thirds, right? A third of the time you're lifting great, a third of the time you're lifting mediocre, and a third of the time you're lifting shitty. I really like that. But in the terms of a season, do you think it's a good thing to think of like having maybe a 3-month section of an off season in weightlifting?
Yeah, I think that would be good. One of the things that I would recommend for like an off season is, I know what you're doing program wise, but like
Mhm.
that would be a time where you really don't want to stick to a program. Like if I was doing an online thing in the garage, I would put it on hold for 3 months, and I would literally just do whatever I want, whenever I want, and just I don't feel like clean and jerking today. I don't feel like snatching today. I've never said that, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
just kind of doing the stuff that I want to do, and then that off season was kind of what I would consider to be that bad time, where you're going to have a bad time when you start ramping back up and you have to stick to a schedule and you have to do what you're told.
Yeah.
But I think that would be the best way of kind of doing it, and just literally having no expectations, just kind of having fun. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, where I don't want to stick to the program because
Mhm.
I will just get frustrated that I'm not capable of doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing. I've stopped AI about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I didn't stop it. It's still on my phone. I'm still paying like $30 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not following it. I'm not opening up. I'm just coming out here. I'm being like, you know what? Today we're going to do blocks, or, today I'm going to do like a tempo snatch, or, and I have always found that I come back stronger when I do that. I usually do that in December anyways, because
Okay.
it's just to like, for the past couple of years, every January has been like the startup of a block leading into Masters Nationals.
Yeah.
And so I've always gotten to the point where in December, I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I want right now. And then I go into January feeling really motivated to like be structured. And like I come in there and it feels good. And it feels like, okay, I felt it on one side where I didn't have any program. There was no structure. I was just doing what I want and having fun. Now it's time to buckle down. And it's almost like I can compartmentalize all that and like I do a mind shift. And so that's kind of where I'm doing what I'm doing now, even though I have these injuries, even though I have the lack of motivation, and even though I'm starting like a month early, but I'm also a little bit older these days. So, maybe that's just a thing too. I think age comes into this a little bit, but I don't know. I see people my age still lifting pretty heavy, so I think that it's still obtainable. I don't want to ever count anything short because of age.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I don't remember if we talked about this last week or if it was on Polo or what, but did we talk about Tarokti and his training?
No,
and how he does it?
I think that was Polo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Weightlifting House was talking about it a little bit a
Yes.
few weeks ago, or
I saw
they've been
the
so sporadic with their
I know
podcast recently. But so I guess the way that he does it now is because he makes money with his weightlifting still. He's not a professional weightlifter anymore, but he makes money. Damon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hi, Damon.
Hi, Damon.
He makes money with all of his videos and with his seminars and all that kind of stuff. And he's just at the age now and lifting age and all that kind of stuff, where he says, I can't do weightlifting anymore, but I can do snatch for 3 months. And then I stop snatching, and then I do clean and jerk for 3 months. And then we just film and we video and we do all the stuff. And then we just put it together like it's all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he just goes back and forth and back and forth. And he said that my body doesn't get beat up if I'm only doing one of the two movements. And I was like, that's kind of that's somewhat what I'm looking towards the future of kind of doing with my programming and like that type of a thing, especially when I move and I'm not sure what I'm doing yet program wise after that.
Yeah.
But it just seems like one of those things where I know I can push a lot longer with the snatch because it's so much lighter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I could do 2 to 4 months with the snatch, and then I could do a month with the clean and jerk. Maybe I don't think I would realistically go further than a month.
Yeah.
Because I'll just get to those weights where it's like, all right, this is where I'm going to stop now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would imagine, and I haven't felt this yet in my in my time in the sport, but I would imagine there's a certain weight where it's just, I mean, it's soul breaking, and I think you've kind of gotten there a couple times with the clean and jerk, especially.
Yeah.
So I like that plan, and I like that idea. Something I've been thinking about, about like you, which is your move and all that coming up, and like, I was going to ask you, do you think you're going to do the garage thing for a little bit? Or are you going to look for a home over there, or how's that going to work out for you, you think?
It is very up in the air. There is a couple of gyms out there. There's not really any weightlifting gyms out there.
Yeah.
But there is a real big CrossFit gym that I will check out next time I go, and I will see kind of if they have any platforms, if they're interested in having any weightlifting. Their website is not very, it's one of those like, give us your information, we'll give you a call.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, right.
I don't want to talk to anybody yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to plan this all in my head first.
Yes, I hear you there.
So I'm planning on bringing my platform to 2 full sets of weights, couple of bars, and I have the squat rack that's behind me.
Yep.
And I have considered selling this platform, but I don't think I'll get what I want out of it. I mean, it's an Eleiko platform, and I don't think I would want close to like a couple grand for it. So I don't think that it's not one of those things that people generally really want. And when I got it, when I got it, I got a full set of weights with it as well.
Oh, that's right. I remember you talking about that. I think, I think you're probably right about that. It feels as though the era of like garage lifting is kind of fading into the darkness a little bit. And, whatever. I think it was a byproduct of the whole, shutdown and all that stuff. And that's why mainly people did it. I'm keeping it strong in my life though, for some reason. I love that platform's really great. And I think if I remember correctly, Rose City has one of them. And those, dude, they're just solid platforms. And anybody who knows anything about weightlifting would probably pay a good money for it.
And this was also the platform that was used at the Anaheim Worlds with the Georgian team. So Lasha was on this one. So
which is pretty freaking cool.
And the guy I bought it from, he had the 2.5 or 5 kilo plate that Lasha signed.
Oh, really?
So I knew that it was true.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. There was some authentic.
He just wouldn't give me that with it. So
that's cool. That's cool, man. I like the idea of that. Dude, you have so much more to do than weightlifting, but I do understand there will be a point when you're like, I need to get this going again once I move.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I don't want to jump straight into the garage is when I move out there, it's like I need to start making connections. I don't want to just move out there and be a hermit. I need to find work. I need to find whether it's doing my own thing or if I'm going to actually get a job. I need to find people to hang out with, people for my kids to hang out with. Like we're watching church online out there. So we're trying to like find a church, and then I'm trying to find the gym, and I'm trying to, like, right before we got on this, I was looking up some certification stuff for a potential job.
Nice.
So
nice.
There's just a whole lot of stuff where I'm like, if I stayed here, I could just be in my garage and still have a full social life, but I don't want to move out there and not know anybody.
Yeah. And I think that's a really smart thing to do because, you're moving across the country, like that's a big thing. And, like I said, there's more important things than just get going in the gym, take your time with it and get it going. And I think that, but,
I would kind of like to go to a gym though.
Yeah.
And just kind of lay low.
Yes.
Maybe turn the Instagram off for a little while.
Yeah.
Not have it like visible what's possible. And then just one day be like, I think I'm just going to max out today. And then
turn it on
go do something big.
Yeah. See, I like that. And I don't know if anybody's really ever paid attention to my Instagram, but I've stopped posting lifting stuff maybe once a month, once a week. I think the past month I've posted 2 or 3. And I don't know why that is. I think it's my own self-conscious thing, but it's been kind of nice, and it's been kind of freeing to not be so pressured to post something on there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm throwing stuff up there just to keep myself accountable, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's I'm doing less and less like editing, and I'm doing less and less.
Of the
Gotta
yeah.
get the music right and the filter right, and
The beat has to drop right when I pull.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand. Trust me.
I did feel aged a little bit the other day because I heard someone talking on another podcast, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I just post stories. I'm not really into the grid anymore." And I'm like, "The grid?
What?
Oh, the normal
just
posts
clicked.
are the grid."
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other big thing that everyone has, I was on this. I'm not saying I was special,
Yeah.
but I clicked yes like years ago about turning off your likes. And
Oh,
that's like a really big thing now where people can't see how many likes you have. It's
oh,
just,
that's
is it
awesome.
liked or not?
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people are doing it now so they can be like, oh, that one didn't get too many likes, so whatever. Or and I just clicked yes, and I was like, I don't really care. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, nobody has their likes up there, so you can't see how many people are liking their stuff.
Which I kind of like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That is an interesting thing. Well, let's transition a little bit. Have you done any cooking recently?
So today was my daughter's turn.
Okay.
And she's like, I want to make tzatziki sauce. I'm like, that's it? Just sauce? I was like, all right, well, I was like, I know how to make the actual like Euro meat, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like 6 o'clock, and I looked and it's
Yeah.
like 2:30. I'm like, oh gosh. So we just made like chicken Euros, and she made the tzatziki sauce, and
Nice.
she did a great job. And so that was dinner.
Solid.
Dessert, I took some croissants from Costco, cut them in half, and then buttered them, brown sugar, cinnamon, air fried them till they were crispy, basically like a churro, and then put that all over ice cream and chopped them all up in little pieces.
Nice.
So that was pretty freaking good too.
That sounds freaking great, dude. Holy crap. Your ice cream game is definitely on point. We've been doing this thing once a week. It's the sheet pan nachos. Mm-hmm. And I just go to go get a rotisserie chicken. I usually try to do it at Costco, but sometimes it's the Fred Meyer one or whatever. And just shred all the chicken off that. It's all the chicken on there. It's jalapenos, it's beans, it's tons of cheese. What else did I put on there? I think I sauteed up some bell pepper and garlic and onions, and then I drained the pico de gallo and threw it on there, and then topped it with like sour cream and guacamole. And
nice.
Yeah, the big problem with it's really freaking good, but my kids don't eat it, which is the weirdest thing. And so like, it's just Alana and I, and we're only hitting about half of that pan, maybe, And so I'm like, what do you do with this? And so one of my buddies was like, you should do you know what chilaquiles is?
Mm-mm.
So it's a Latino dish, Mexican dish, whatever you want to call it, where they take corn chips, and you start with a stainless steel fry pan, and you put a bunch of verde salsa in there, and then you drop the chips in there until they start to soak up the salsa. You take them out, you throw like 2 or 3 fresh fried eggs, like sunny side up eggs, a bunch of like cilantro and fresh white onion. And it's a really, really, really tasty dish. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do that. So next time we do it, I'm gonna save some and see if that works. But man,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
I did see a video today. It said this, like a lot of people say, like, this is the best egg you've ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So it just shows this pot of oil.
Yeah.
And the guy just he's got the egg in a bowl and he just plops it in the oil. Mm-hmm. He goes, Just leave it in here for about 25, 30 seconds. Then he scoops it out. And he gets a plate of seasoned flour, and he breads the egg.
What?
Solid bread, like it's salt and pepper and all kinds of stuff in that flour. And then he puts it back in the oil and he fries it. And he's like, it's a chicken fried egg.
Oh,
and then it shows him cut it in half, and then it shows him, and he's about 400 plus pounds in overalls, and he's like, "This is the best egg you've ever had." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you eat too many of those."
But... Yes, yeah, but that's a believable one. So
yeah,
so I've heard of the deep fry egg like in a wok, but that I've never heard of the breading part afterwards. I'm gonna try that. That sounds freaking great.
It looked like a chicken, like a piece of chicken.
Yeah.
And then he cut it, and it was like it was probably like a little bit more than like over medium. Like it was kind of runny, but still more solid. Oh, it looked awesome.
That sounds really good. I did see the little egg, what was it, slider that you sent us? That, dude, I've seen that, and that thing looks so freaking good, and I just haven't made it yet. But
yeah,
I got to try that because that makes complete sense. But anyways, well, 40 minutes. Cornell, you got anything else?
I would like to say congratulations to both Nicks in my life.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I don't know one of the Nicks' last names, but he's at the gym. He snatched 120 yesterday after being extremely hungover, I believe, and coming in and being like, "I feel like death. I don't think I can do anything today." I go, "You should just build to a heavy and see what happens."
Yeah, that's great advice.
He snatched 120, and then Nick Deshane, he competed today in Northern California, and he went 140, 171 for 311.
Nice.
That's a PR total, and it got him into nationals next year as a senior, 109.
Hell yes, dude. So, that's awesome. What meet was it at? You said Northern California.
It's in Modesto and Resident CrossFit, I think.
Okay. Well, shit. Nick, awesome job. That's freaking rad. That's a 4 or 5 kilo PR on the total.
I don't remember his best, but I know that
it's a PR.
It's definitely a PR.
Yeah.
Especially he's now come down to 109. So that's been good.
I've been seeing a lot of his lifting on the gram, and he's looking good. He's moving well, and that's awesome. Congratulations, Nick, and keep up that.
Out from finals also, so that'll be good.
Yeah, and you're going with him for that, right?
Yep.
Sweet. That'll be sweet. Well, everybody get out there, keep lifting well, and thank you for listening. Cornell, as always, thank you for being on, and we'll talk to everybody later. Adios.
Bye.